One of our first agreements was, I'm committed. I'm committed. Is everyone committed? And we all agree that we're committed. And the other hand is up for, I'm in discovery. We stay in the humility, we stay in the willingness to grow with other humans, the willingness to not have all the answers, but to deeply listen together. What just took place at Collective Legacy at a very remote incubator, we were literally pioneering something as a community, as a shared community. People that come from many different literal tribes, like indigenous tribes, to different tribes in specific industries or scenes. Everyone has their unique approach to solving the world's problems, the unique challenges of their community, or of the problem in the world that it's their purpose to address. The relational element of having a week-long period of time to go deep into all these profound subjects that allow us to step into our humanity in a deeper way, to step into our vulnerability, our authenticity, truly our challenges as a soul. What is the gift and the challenge that we're bringing to a much bigger narrative than just ourselves? And in that space, we harmonized and we alchemized and we healed collective pain, collective programs, collective ways of operating that we got to experience as almost an experiment, what it would be like to live in total harmony between indigenous nations and entrepreneurial worlds. That's a huge gap to bridge, and we've just bridged that gap this week with authenticity and transparency. And it wasn't always pretty, it wasn't always comfortable, but we arrived in understanding, and we're all negotiating a profound edge of our shared reality. And we need understanding in order to create new systems that can allow peace to be a very real experience for populations of the planet to experience sustained safety and understanding, for populations to begin to mend generations of trauma in real time, in moments of courage and boldness, each individual doing their inner work, but in community, where we can't hide behind industries or niches or cultural ideologies or dogma, but find that human relational element that connects us all. That's where understanding arises. And I believe that that's what we achieved this week at Collective Legacy. Yeah, I feel combination of joy and awe and gratitude, coupled with a really unique exhaustion that has me in a quality of presence that feels quite psychedelic at this point. It was in right alignment to bring an event that I had been sort of thinking about and feeling for over 3 years. Inspired in Costa Rica at Superhero Academy. When I was there, I knew that, like, seeing what a mastermind in an eco-village, a remote eco-village, reminded me of, but there was a different entrepreneurial energy that I was like, oh yeah, this is the piece that I was feeling and wanting to see integrated into the other kind of communities that I've been connected to. So there's been a deep, long desire to bridge earth stewardship and entrepreneurship, and really find some shared culture and find some shared understandings of these different communities I've been interfacing with over a decade. Very niche, almost solutionary, progressive communities that are really into regenerative culture specifically, and seeing that all of these different communities have profound gifts to share and very unique approach to the world's problems that we're facing, very unique solutions, and that they all have a unique challenge as well. So these communities actually need each other to create new culture on the planet that will serve the whole systems that are ready to be created, and that they fill in the gaps for each other in ways that both groups are unaware of because it's their blind spot. So I wanted to bring something together that those communities would inform each other for the first time, that they would share a shared experience, that would go through a shared initiation that would support something very, very emergent that's never happened before. So hey, I know this place Hummingbird that I've built this relationship with, that I feel is potent in what its role wants to be within the greater grid of eco-villages, and the sense of culture that I've been wanting to create on the planet for a while, that brings these earth stewardship values into a very pristine service that allows the best practices of some of these other scenes with the uncorruptibility of truly being a service to the Earth Mother and truly being a service to community, and finding that edge of community and professionalism that a lot of people long for, to have forward movement on their projects, but to experience the heart of true community without an upsell, without an agenda, and really get to know what it feels like to be humans building a relationship, humans building a relational field in a way that gives enough spaciousness to unpack those conversations. Again, it was like, what is that shared culture of like a CEO of a social impact company, and one of the chief of the Oglala people, what clan, what is that shared culture? And one of the things that we found is that edge of where what was perceived as a dominantly festival culture met some of the indigenous culture, and where both sides got to grow together and come into a deeper understanding. And that for me was one of the most fulfilling things to witness in this event. Collective Legacy is a culmination of many, many moving parts. And we brought together communities from many, many different demographics, major platforms that are all scaling. So everyone's in this initiation process. Like everyone that came into the field for this event is in a type of initiation of scaling their impact in the world. And we came together bridging these very unique communities that would have normally not interfaced at this level of immersion. So we have the spaciousness of something outside of a typical summit where you're just information, everything is super structured and regimented, and you don't have the spaciousness to really drop in with another human being and understand what the fullness is of their story and where your shared narrative is. And so I feel like what we created at Collective Legacy this week is that we birthed a new narrative that allowed a certain quality of humanness despite the different sectors that we play in, that landed a coherent field of understanding that's going to allow a continuity of a new organization, multiple organizations, systems that organize organizations, and a shared culture that truly bridged indigenous wisdom and earth stewardship with entrepreneurship. What I'm most interested in terms of inter-organizational alliances and what we can create as a shared movement, is continuing to invite others into the conversation and start to fractal out what we gridded or what we created together, to have that start to become an echo, meaning we send something out, we get feedback, and we start to refine. The quality of alliance building that happened here, the quality of connection, the quality of understanding, and the quality of coherence that was formed here, it was absolutely monumental. The elders and the wisdom keepers that came representing their indigenous communities, representing the voice of indigenous people, representing the voice of Mother Earth herself in a context where there is very linear, agenda-oriented, timeline-oriented masculine thought. And I say masculine not in a good or bad, but just action-oriented. And sometimes action-oriented thought can plow over the listening. Where is that coming from? Why are we moving in that way? And so there was a cultural clash between a mastermind and like literally ceremonial people, and we found understanding. There was a profound understanding that we're on the same shared playing field, and here's what matters to indigenous people. Here are the points of consciousness that still carry colonialism, that need to be decolonized within the new meta-narrative that's emergent. And for those in the entrepreneurial world to take a moment and to breathe and to feel the trees around them and to feel the sacredness of the land and to feel the stillness that lives here, and let that inform a new kind of doing that has spaciousness, flow, and the optimization that arises from that space is so much more exponentially powerful because it's not rushing, asking the right questions, asking deep questions, in fact, that invoke a quality of presence that moves out of a goal-oriented how and into what would it feel like to. And that whole questioning process was really profound for me in terms of understanding how all these pieces fit and relate to each other. When we go into networking spaces, especially entrepreneurs tend to be like, they know what their project is, they know what their piece is, they're used to their pitch or whatever it is there, but to ask a question and to be in discovery, I think was a profound pattern interruption for all of us. The question unlocks this intimacy that pushed everyone's edge in a beautiful way. One of the beautiful things I'm experiencing with working with Mark Angelo on freedom culture is his willingness to input of what that culture is. We can't architect a new culture called freedom culture unless we're committed with profound integrity to inviting the voice of those who don't have white privilege, those who do not have the access to resources to contribute to what that culture is. And what we're architecting, I believe, is an invitation to empower more people to create that freedom and sovereignty. And as we bring people into this culture, we're creating the culture, we're seeding the culture, we're holding an energetic of the culture, and then we invite people into the culture. It's a flag that we all get to fly. It's a flag that we all get to raise and say that we're part of a bigger narrative than ourselves. The new model needs a new culture, and that's freedom culture.